casting's almost like dating, where you go on a date with someone and you're like, oh my God, like he likes me, you know, like, oh my God, he's gonna call me. And he's like, wait, why isn't he calling me? I thought it went so well.
Welcome to the real tea behind reality TV casting. I'm Lauren Ashley Beck, and joining us today is casting director Jesse Tannenbaum from Survivor, Big Brother, and The Amazing Race. Jesse, how you doing today?
You know, my head is spinning. We're currently casting Survivor and The Amazing Race at the same time. So I'm treading water right now, but luckily I love what I do. So I'm great.
That's awesome. That's exactly what the people that are going to be watching this want to hear. They want to be on reality TV. So let's dive right into it because I have so many questions for you. The question that I get all the time, Jesse, on TikTok is, what are the basic main components for an audition tape for either Survivor, Big Brother, or The Amazing Race?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would definitely say the first thing is to actually submit an audition tape. I mean, I can't tell you what percentage of people that apply submit a video of them dancing and not even talking. That's 8 seconds long. Or even a video saying, hey, my name's Jesse, choose me. And that's all it is. So the basic thing I want to point out is make an actual audition video where you talk about yourself. Like, that's what we're looking for, people that actually, by the time we're done watching the video, we can say to ourselves, I totally get this person. Okay, I get it. Like, based on this video, I know what it would be like to go out grabbing a beer with this person or grabbing a cup of coffee and shooting the shit with them. So when people make an audition video and it's super scripted, or a TikTok video like of you dancing, it's like we're not getting the grasp of who you are. And I get it. I know there's a lot of pressure behind it. You want to be perfect and whatnot, but guess what? That's not being authentic. Nobody's perfect. So I think just my advice would be to have an idea of what you want to say and just wing it and talk for like 2 to 3 minutes. That's my basic advice. The other things are like lighting. I want to hear and see you clearly. Like, one of my favorite audition videos was Green's, actually, because her video was just like, she was driving with her best friend in the car, and it happened to be Mother's Day, and she was like, she told her friend, you know what? Start filming me. I'm doing this. I've been talking about this for years. I'm just going to do it. And it was so off the cuff. And she just started ranting about her life and being a mom and being married and kind of losing her identity to some extent and wanting to do something for herself. She got a little emotional. It just was so authentic and real and not forced that I instantly had to call her. I had to call her.
So, okay, I love that you brought that point up about Reem being in her car, because a lot of people will say things like, should I be sitting down in front of the camera? Should I be out and about, going here and there? What do you recommend as the standard, or is it just whatever is more aligned with your life and who you are?
I would say you want us to get a feel for who you are and you want to be as comfortable as possible. I think the biggest misconception is that this video needs to be super flashy. You know, it needs to be edited and a scene here and a scene there, and let me hire a cinematographer and put music in the background. If you have those abilities and skills, by all means, go for it. But I also really appreciate a video where you just hit record, you talk for like 2 to 3 minutes, you hit stop and send it in. Because I'm really getting to see who you are. Because when you do a flashy video, sometimes, is it the video I like? Or is it the person that I like, as opposed to just filming? But to answer your question, you know, filming like this totally works. But if you feel like you're a little stiff, I'd rather you honestly pick up your phone and go for a walk in your neighborhood, you know, or go for that car ride, or, you know, just drive. And then when you have that thought, you know, screw it, I'm gonna do this right now, pull over safely, prop up the camera, horizontal on your iPhone, please, and just start shooting the shit with us and curse if you curse and talk how you want. That's how Deshaun from this season shot his video. He was in a gas station and he pulled over and was like, you know what, screw it. I want to apply. I'm going to shoot this video right now. And it was just, he's like, just shooting the shit with us. And it felt like I was in the car with him. It felt like I could tell what it would be like to have a conversation with Deshaun, and what you see on the show is what we got in the audition video.
Do you recommend editing in things like pictures with your friends and family, having those people in the video with you?
Yes and no, it just depends. You know, like a lot of people send in videos where it's like a 4-minute montage of all their friends saying why you should be on the show. The video should average 3 minutes anyway, and you don't want to take too much time away from you actually speaking, because I want to see your facial expressions when you tell a story. I want to see, do you use your hands when you talk? Like Christian Hubicki's the king of like, he was like all over the place. It was such a visual thing to see. Pictures are fine, but if the whole thing is like voiceover, where it's just like, it's just pictures and I'm hearing her voice over it, it sounds like a cheesy infomercial for something. And it doesn't feel authentic, because once again, I want to see you. As far as like meeting people in your family, I think there's certain cases where it makes sense. You know, like if you are married and you have kids, it'd be so cute to like have you go selfie style and be like, hey, what do you think about dad playing Survivor? Do you think daddy can win? Or like ask your wife. And we get such funny, authentic responses from the wives, sometimes being like, there's no way you're gonna win, you talk too much. And it's just like, it's letting us into their world, and once again, getting us emotionally invested in who they are as people. And we can't get emotionally invested in someone that is just trying to come across perfect and saying all the right scripted things. It just, we can see through that really quickly.
So usually if somebody is speaking from a script, you've been doing this for a while now, you're seasoned, you know what you're doing. You can tell that people are. Yeah,
I could tell. I mean, listen, you want to tell us about your life and where you're from and how you were raised and what struggles have you gone through in your life to get you where you are today. And by you telling that story, we kind of have an idea of what kind of a player you're going to be in the game based on, you know, telling that story when your back was against the wall and you could have rolled over and just like crawled into bed in the fetal position and cried yourself to sleep, but you did A, B, and C to change your life around for the sake of being a single mom and your kids. And by that story, we kind of already have an idea like, oh, I could see what type of player she's going to be. When we get a video that is kind of like a sales pitch spiel, like I'm going to be great at the social game of Survivor. I mean, I am a pharmaceutical sales rep. Being a pharmaceutical sales rep, I'm used to dealing with people from all different walks of life every single day. And I have to use my personality and charm to get to the front desk person, to get to the doctor to make the sale. So I'm going to be really good at being a social chameleon. It's like, we've heard that before. And if that's what you do for a living, I'd rather you to say like, listen, I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep. Like I'm no stranger to like having to use my charm to get in places, but I've been doing that since I was 12 years old, honestly. Like, you know, at my first job, I was 14 years old working at Dairy Queen because my parents wouldn't buy me a new PlayStation and I wanted that. So I went out and got a job at 14 under the table. Like, tell us a story. Don't just say the fluffy stuff.
I think it's such a trap because I feel like when people think they're going to be on TV, they feel like they have to do the whole production. They have to be the cameraman, the director, the editor. And I think that perfection is probably what gets people not called.
Yeah, but I mean, we're also good at our job too. So if we see perfection and we see something in there in their bio where they have a really interesting profession, or we see a glimmer of something, that's where we'll call them back. Okay, listen, that was horrible. I like to call them out and just see how they react to me sometimes, because that's what we like too. Some of the best people are the ones that can break down this wall that we're these really big, important people, which we're not, we're regular people, and just shoot the shit with us and bust my balls as much as I'm busting your balls and be playful with us. So I would also say that as advice too, if you get a call from any casting person from a show, it's not a job interview. They want to know what you're like. So, you know, I call people sometimes and they're like, hello? And I'm like, hey, this is Jesse from Survivor. Oh, how are you doing today? I'm like, I say to them, I'm like, are you even excited? And they're like, oh no, I'm screaming on the inside. I'm like, no, scream on the outside. You know, like, this is what this is about. I want to get to know you and what you're like. So
how Survivor, Big Brother, The Amazing Race focused should your tapes be?
You want to sprinkle. It's so funny. I can't tell you how many times we look at a video for Survivor and it's like for another reality show. And it's literally like they just copy and paste and send. And you could tell when someone just wants to be on a reality TV show. And that's kind of a turnoff, to be honest. Just someone that just wants to be on TV. So we accept new fans all the time, but you should know what you're getting yourself into, whatever show you apply for. So it shouldn't be super Survivor focused. It's more about your life. But yeah, you want to sprinkle in some stuff. You know, like if you are a fan and you've been watching since you were 6 years old, we're looking for good storytellers. So if you're a fan, there's two ways of saying the story, right? Like, oh, I'm a huge fan of the show. I've been watching forever. Forever, what is forever? Is that forever for me is a different answer than it would be for you. No, I'd rather you paint the picture and be like, I remember the first time watching Survivor, it was May 31st, 2000. I was sitting on my grandfather's shag brown carpet and eating a TV dinner because my mom couldn't cook. And I started watching the show and I was like, what is this? You know, and it brought my family close together. It was super dysfunctional. And we would always get together and watch Survivor. So it holds a special place in my heart. You know, it's like, that's a storyteller that's getting emotionally invested in you. You don't have to have that story, okay? I'm just saying like the details are really important in a video. So to answer your question, no, I don't want a video of like, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I'd be good at the social game, blah, blah, blah. And that's, I don't want that. Because once again, by just telling me your story, I can kind of imagine you on the show just based on your life and all the things you've been through. And, you know, some people have lived a super charmed life. I don't want people, especially watching season 41, being like, oh, I don't have a chance in hell of ever getting on this show because I haven't struggled with things, you know, and that's okay. But we are looking for people with some depth.
I think, Jesse, that's a big misconception too with coming onto a show like Survivor. People will often say to me, I really want to be on the show, but I don't have a sob story. And I'm like, you don't have to have a sob story. You're you, right?
Yeah, no, you don't have to. I don't like to even think of it as a sob story. It's just like, you know, it's life experience, right? Like, and I think that also comes into play in the game of Survivor. Like someone that's had a lot of life experience tends to play the game a little bit harder and a little bit riskier, rather than someone that's lived a pretty cushy life. But we've had those type of people on the show, and we'll continue to get those type of people on the show. But all those people they offer something else. They're really dynamic, and they're super kind and nice, and you know, they have great jobs or whatnot. Like there are things that everyone offers. So that's definitely something I want to point out, that if you don't have to have this story. Let's
say someone was contacted by you already and they haven't heard back. They were essentially ghosted by you guys. Is it a don't call us, we'll call you type of situation? Should they be resubmitting, reapplying? How should they go about that?
So I try not to do that. Every casting person's different, every show is different, but it's never anything personal. As you can imagine, we're dealing with so many people, and sometimes we haven't reached out to you yet because it's very strategic when we want to show you. We have several pitch meetings throughout the months and months and months we're casting this show. We're casting this all the way through basically the end of February, beginning of March, that sometimes I might work with someone at the very beginning and I'm like, strategically, I'm going to hold on to this person. And I might show them a little bit later when I feel like, you know, there's pieces of the puzzles created and I know they could be a good puzzle piece. Sometimes we pitch them and they just weren't right. Sometimes I just decided not to pitch them because I got the new video and it wasn't as good as I needed it to be, or they didn't pop or stand out. So casting's almost like dating, where you go on a date with someone and you're like, oh my God, like he likes me, you know, like, oh my God, he's gonna call me. And he's like, wait, why isn't he calling me? I thought it went so well. And it's like, unfortunately, that's how it goes. So I guess that means ghosting, doesn't it?
It does mean ghosting, Jesse.
It's never done intentionally. And I promise you, if anyone ever reached out to be like, to answer your question, I don't mind an email, be like, hey, you know, any updates? And I always give an update. You know, I always give an update.
Is there such a thing as being too much of a pest, reaching out too much? And then on the reverse side of that, do you look at people that aren't reaching out? Like, okay, well, maybe they don't really want to be on the show.
I appreciate somebody that's not willing to give up. Okay, there is a fine line. You know, we have all different types of people that apply for the show. And when you find out my home address and you send me a package at my house and send a package to every casting person, that's not going to make us want to move forward with you, to be honest. It weirds me out a little bit to know, like, wow, you know my address, or you trace down my cell phone number, or you know, and there's a part of me that definitely respects that, you know, for going for what you want. Because once
People
again,
actually do that? That's crazy.
Yeah. There's a part of me that does respect that, because it shows like, wow, that's what kind of a player this would be. This is someone that's going to do what it takes to find that hidden immunity idol, or pull a blind side, or, you know, pull a U-turn on The Amazing Race. So I do appreciate that. But, you know, once I get the whole, like, yeah, no, it's great. You know, I'll definitely look at the submission. Thanks for calling, or thanks for texting, you know, then if you don't hear from me, I just didn't think you were right for that season. You know, and some people just aren't made to be on television, and that's okay. You know, I mean, is anyone ever going to say to their face, you can never be on a show? Absolutely not, because there's a show out there for everyone, I'm sure. But, you know, each show, The Amazing Race, Survivor, Big Brother, it's all very specific for what we're looking for. And the type of personalities we use. Big Brother's like a horse of a different color with the type of people we need for that show. Because it's the 24 hours, and you know, people are watching you 24 hours. We are looking for really big personalities that just won't be like laying around and sleeping all day.
Right, and enjoying that Big Brother house. I hear you. Are there things that you've seen over and over again that you're just like, okay, like I don't want to see this anymore in your tape?
Are you ready for this?
Okay. I'm so ready.
Oh, Survivor, I didn't see you there.
You're not serious.
Oh my God, so many videos. And if you're watching this and you did that, I'm sorry, but it's not original. Everyone has done that before. You know, like skits and stuff like that, creating a song. It's appreciated, your creativity is appreciated, but if it's a 3-minute video, let that song be the first 20 seconds and then talk about yourself. And then unfortunately, what we get more so than not is, like I said before, a video that literally buys you nothing. Nothing. A TikTok video of you dancing, or, you know, and it's just, it's pointless. It really, depending on the show. Our shows, right, we look for depth on our shows. We look for story. And by you just submitting that type of video, it's just not gonna work. And a lot of people tell me, and I get it, I made a beautiful video and then I tried to upload it and the file size was too big. I couldn't figure it out. So that's why I submitted that 3-second video. And to that I say, if things got hard on Survivor, you couldn't figure something out, are you gonna give up? No, you're not. So find a friend that knows how to make the file size smaller. Yeah, right. I'm not good at that stuff either by any means. Like, I'm really not good at it, but I know I would get someone to help me make it shorter. Or I would make a shorter video real quick, like, you know, and just go a little bit, just condense it and give as much as you can. And a lot of people also make a video and keep in mind it's short. They waste 1.5 minutes talking about, oh my God, this is take 575. So listen, like, I really tried to make a video and I tried to edit it and I did such a beautiful job editing it. And I tried to and they're explaining the situation as opposed to saying, hey, my name's Jesse, I'm 40, I'm originally from Miami and I am a huge fan of Survivor, let's do this. Like, they tell us the journey of the frustration and it's like, tell us, just cut that out. Every second should buy you something in this video you make us.
I love that, Jesse. And I think that's something that people should run with. Every second should buy you something. What's gonna make you not call me?
Well, some of that stuff I won't say. Then the people that would do that, it's almost important for them to just do that. Sure. So we know who they are.
Sure,
you
sure.
know? But yeah, I mean, every casting person's different, right? But I think like the generic stuff, just don't be like, you know, I know some shows like, and, you know, I mean, we really do try to get people that are just inspiring and, you know, we try, you know, but like in these shows, being sleep deprived or being emotionally, physically exhausted on like The Amazing Race or being super high strung and stressed on Big Brother, things come out. We understand that. But no, I just don't submit a dumb TikTok. Please. I hate it. We all hate it.
I am like, I love TikTok.
Okay, and what listen, if you're a TikTok person, that's great, right? That's totally fine. I have no problem with that. You know, it's great to see like someone's personality on TikTok, even though it's like a certain amount of seconds. It's like, is that really that person's personality? But to submit a TikTok as your audition video is not a good idea.
Let's say you've already been on a reality show. What are your chances of being cast on Big Brother, The Amazing Race, or Survivor?
Well, MTV will take you on the challenge. We know that they take a lot of our people. I love watching them on it though. I watch the show, I love it. And I'm 40, it's kind of sad. It depends, in all honesty. It just depends. What was it on? How long ago was it? Was it another reality competition show based type of show, survival-ish show or travel show, or like The Circle? It's very similar to Big Brother. Most likely not. But if it, you know, there's always an exception to the rule, right? But if it's like, if you're a baker and that's what you do for a living, and you were on the Great Bake Off and it was one episode and you know, you were on it for like 20 minutes and it was like 4 years ago, it's like, there's always an exception to the rule. But do we want somebody that's on all these mainstream reality shows and like you IMDb them and there's like all this like reality show stuff? Ideally not. Always an exception to the rule.
That's fair. If someone works in the entertainment industry, does that diminish their chances? I mean, I know on Survivor, we've had people like Mike White. Does that make it less of a chance for them to get on the show?
No, not necessarily, because you've seen it happen, right? On Big Brother, we've had it with Frankie Grande, and you know, we've had it on The Amazing Race, Mike White on The Amazing Race, and especially on Survivor. You've seen it a few times. I think that it just depends how in the know they are. Because sometimes, even for the producers, it's like, do we want someone on the show that is so in the know about production and how this works and camera angles and all that stuff that they're not even playing the game because they're in their head watching what's happening with the camera crew and the producers and overthinking things. I think for me, I'm not the deciding factor there. If there's someone that's great, we show them. You know, it's like you're kind of in the biz to some extent in what you do, and you're amazing. So we're like, we have to show this person because they're fantastic. Yeah. So no, it's not a deal breaker at all. But just like anything, you need to feel authentic and different and raw and real and let us in.
As we've been talking about social media and TikToks and not sending in TikToks, do you guys pay attention to that? Like, let's say somebody tags you 100 times in a tweet. Do you respond to something like that?
I can't, listen, have I responded before? Sure. I try not to, because then I really try to be fair across the board. I mean, if you look at and I apologize for anyone that has done this, if you look at my like other DM folder thing, I don't even know how many are in there. It's hard for me to respond because then I feel like I need to respond to everybody. But no, I get tagged a lot. And listen, I'll look at the thing I'm tagged in and whatnot. I'll like it, you know, if you like wrote something nice or whatnot. But if you're taking the time to DM me, I hope you've taken the time to make a real audition video and submit it. Because if you did, and we think you're right, we're gonna call you, okay? And if you made a video that after you watch it, you feel like, God, this just doesn't represent who I am, or show it to one of your best friends and be like, what do you think about this video? Would you say this represents me? And maybe the friend would be like, you're really stiff. What are you doing? Okay, reshoot it, you know? But if you know that you submitted a video that's authentically yourself and you don't get a call, it doesn't mean that you're not great. You're not a great person. It just means like right now, we don't need you for our show. Maybe it's we never need you for our show, but also maybe at the moment we don't need you for our show. Because listen, when you break it down, and let's say it's a cast of 20, that's 10 men and 10 women, older, younger, gay, straight, lesbian, transgender. It's like, it's a hard show to get onto. It really is. So I appreciate the passion of contacting me and doing all those things, but I also apologize for not responding.
No, and that's okay. I mean, I'm sure you have people tweeting you, adding you left and right. You can't get to all of it, like you said. And then if you do respond to some people, then people may see that as playing favorites or they're getting on the show or what have you. So I think that's very smart to play it that way. Let's jump into some fan questions. The first question comes from a major super fan. I'm sure you've seen his tape, Jesse. His name is Solomon. He's so cute. He wants to know if you have any tips when filling out the bio portion of your application.
Tip would be, don't have it verbatim what you said in the video, because once again, every second you want to have an opportunity to say something about yourself. So after you do the video first, maybe think, you know, whenever we do something, we're like, oh, I wish I did that, or oh, I wish I said that. That's an opportunity to fill that in. I wouldn't fill it with fluff. I love the show. Oh my God, it's like a microcosm of the world, and it's the best social game ever. It's like, we know about our show. I'd rather you hear other things about yourself, like a struggle that you've gone through, or, you know, maybe the reason why you want to do the show is always a great thing to include in the bio or your video. And hopefully dig a little bit deeper than, I'm in a rut and I want to travel and I want to adventure in my life. Then, you know what, go backpacking throughout Europe. You know, why do you want to be miserable on a beach starving, you know, as Lauren can attest to? Or why do you want to race with your specific teammate on The Amazing Race? Or why do you want to be on Big Brother? If this is true, just lie, but don't say I want exposure and I want to be on TV, because that's an instant for me. Next.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing for me that's so great about Survivor specifically, is that people that are playing are authentic fans of the show. And it's not just watching a bunch of people that want their 15 minutes like me. Moving on to Adventure Jess. She wants to know, are there topics that are more important to talk about, like you, your life, your personality, or your athleticism and your knowledge of the show? We kind of touched on that a little bit, but would you say one is more important than the other?
Yeah, who you are is more important because everybody's gonna say, I'm athletic, I go to the gym 5 days a week, I do CrossFit, I do Pilates, I'm a huge fan of the show. It's like we get that. And for the most part, if we're seeing you, we can see, oh wow, she's yoked. She's in great shape, you know? But yeah, you could, I would just kind of throw it in and move on. You know, I was a track star in high school and I know I'm 40 now and that was a long time ago, but I just ran the New York City Marathon last year. I'm super physically fit and I feel like I'm going to be a huge asset to my tribe. Move on. Like, I'd rather hear about the struggle of it all rather than you just did that. But no, I think the backstory and where you are today in life. Are you a mom? What kind of a mom are you? You know, why do you want to do this show? I think that's more important than the sales pitch of I'm athletic, my tribe's gonna want me, I do CrossFit, but it's important for us to know, but sprinkle that in.
Sure. Owen wants to know, he says, people in casting always say, be yourself, but are there any personalities that you don't want on the show? I mean, we kind of talked about this. We don't want on the show.
It's what I personally don't want, you know, but like if there's a that's a lovable, I think I'm a lovable, you know, like, you know, but if you're just like a bad person, it's like there's other shows to try out for. But, you know, I don't think anyone's going to say that in the video. I'm a bad person. And listen, and that goes back to, you know, someone that's been applying for years and years and years might possibly say every video I do, that is my personality. And I know that's probably a hard pill to swallow that I haven't gotten the call. And there could be, because once again, the puzzle piece and maybe you just don't fit, or you feel too similar to like 4 other people that we already have in the mix, or you're just not right for Survivor possibly, or The Amazing Race, or Big Brother. But once again, I appreciate someone that doesn't give up and someone that keeps trying, as long as they don't send me a package to my house.
Yes, or call you. HG Chillin wants to know, how quickly do they need to get your attention in the beginning of the tape? Does it need to happen right away, or are you gonna watch the whole thing and give them a chance?
This is a question that's going to be a different answer for every casting person, right?
Okay.
For myself, I can tell pretty quickly, based on, you know, some people just have that spark, right? They have that spark. And that's why it's like from the beginning, you should really, you know, don't film this where you have to whisper because your kid's sleeping in the room next door. Don't film this in a dark basement with horrible lighting where you're like mumbling and there's loud music in the background. Because stuff like that, it's like, I'm not gonna be able to listen to any of this stuff. I really do try to watch a good chunk of the video to give everyone a fair shot. But yeah, no, I think it is important to grab our attention in the beginning. And grab our attention doesn't mean do a shtick or, you know, run into a bunch of snow naked or anything like that. It just means, what's up, Survivor? How you doing? My name's Jesse, and holy shit, I am so freaking stoked to film this video. You guys don't even understand how long I've been wanting to do this. That would get my attention, you know?
Yeah.
If that's who you really are. But no, you don't. Yeah, I think it is important to grab our attention at the beginning.
Yeah.
There's no specific way to do it. It's just, it's your personality, right?
And I think that's what it is. People are after that magic formula, that thing that they're going to say that's every time going to get your attention. And I think that that's a big misconception. People just need to be themselves and then see if they can get your attention.
And this is what our job is too. It's like there's been plenty of people that have submitted a video that was horrible. And I wish I could just think some off the top of my head that I've called in like, but you know, bust their balls to some extent, and was like, okay, I like them, they're playful, they're busting my balls back. And then I'll be like, you made the worst video ever. Like, what was up with that? That was horrible. And then I like talked about making a new video, and they send a new video and they get on the show. So we're not trained, but we're trained to see through some bad videos. But when it's a video of literally nothing, no talking whatsoever, you better have an amazing bio for us to want to like call you, because it's a lot. It takes a lot of time to call somebody that we don't even know what they're going to sound like on the other end, what their personality is like at all. Are they super dry? Do they have a big personality? Do they pop? And now I just committed myself to at least a 10-minute phone call when I have things to do, which is why we hesitate calling people that don't submit a real audition video. We have and do call some people, but it's I would say it's more few and far between for me. Or I might just send them an email, a generic email. Hey, obviously you submitted a horrible video. Here's what I need. You know, make a video and send it to me. I have done that as well.
That's awesome, Jesse. You have given us so many little gems of information. I know everybody's going to be so stoked. I love these answers, and they're all so great, Jesse, because they all allude to the same fact, which is you just want to get to know the person that's applying, and that's wonderful. In the meantime, as if you don't already have enough people following you and tagging you and stalking your whole life, where can people find you, Jesse?
Well, my address is... I don't really use Twitter too much. I'm on there. I should learn how to use Twitter. Maybe you could teach me one day. But Instagram is like where I'm at, and I do lots of updates today. I did an update on The Amazing Race because we're casting and gave some video tips and whatnot. And I do the same thing for Big Brother and The Amazing Race. So my Instagram is just at jesse.tannenbaum.
Awesome. And I will add that for you guys because it is spelled really fancy like. Thank you so much for joining, you guys. I hope you had fun and learned a little bit about casting for Survivor, Big Brother, and The Amazing Race. I'm Lauren Ashley Beck. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys later.